All right, we are back with some second channel action here. And today, well, we got volleyball this afternoon, so I can't be running too late into the evening. And I kind of need to get done what we're about to get did. Oh. Now right here, we've got an extremely small steel wheel. She's about 20 inches across, 20-inch diameter, a radius of 10 inches times 2, I think. A circumference, who knows? I don't know that one. A width, I think they're 8 inches. I don't really know. They're a big old steel wheel. As you can see, there are 6 lug. And as you know, several of these old school mini trucks are 6 lug. But these ain't for the mini trucks. These are actually for Randy's truck. All right, we've been working on that. Y'all see me convert it to this last week to a 700 R4, fresh motor, all that kind of good stuff, right? Well, we are getting ready to convert it to 6 lug so we can run them wheels. Just playing, tricked you again. These are actually for my TRAVELALL. That's 5 lug. The TRAVELALLs never came 6 lug. So we're gonna convert this to 6 lug. Oh, don't scratch up the cap. Just playing. It already is. That's right. Those wheels really are for the TRAVELALL. I wasn't playing there. We're gonna change up the TRAVELALL a bit. If you seen in last week's second channel video, I told you we resealed it all, so all the windows and door seals and all that stuff's replaced now. And I've got a list of other stuff we're gonna address, like better bezels, hopefully get some of the dents out of that sucker, and maybe even replace that if we can find one. TRAVELALL parts are hard to get, guys. This front end is a 2-year only. It's not like there's exactly TRAVELALLs or international pickups just sitting around everywhere. At least not down here. Anyhow, we're not getting into that this video. One of the things I'm trying to accomplish with this TRAVELALL, one of the things I'm trying to accomplish with selling the old Oklahoma Lullaby, that dually we sold to Mordsky, was make money off of it and take that money and reinvest it into these two here. And that's what I've been doing, a little bit behind the scenes, I guess, by like taking this one to the glass shop and having it all redone. And I guess I'll show you that one here in a second, show you where we spent some of the money on it. Some of y'all's gonna like it, some of you's gonna call me a sissy for not doing it myself. Whatever. The other thing I want to do on this one is one of these I want to be able to drive year-round and comfortably. Maybe I'm getting soft, maybe I'm finally getting older and stuff's catching up to me, but guys, like 2 days ago when it was 103 and humid here and it felt like 111 or whatever they said it was, those days are rough, and you want to take something you know you're going to be cool in. About 3 years ago, I wouldn't have given a damn. I'd been in the truck with the windows down being like, man, it feels good. It don't feel good. That hot is hot. It gets to me now. Anyhow, one of the things is, I know you can put the clear window tint on it, and that helps keep the heat and blah, blah, blah. But if y'all look at this thing, and look at the glass, I mean, this thing's just a greenhouse. And we're going to end up tinting the windows on it. I know some of y'all just said yes, because I've seen comments over the years about tinting the windows on it. I'm going to tell you, me personally, I don't think we're going to ever make this TRAVELALL look better than what it looks like right now. In an old school classic, window tint does not look appropriate, guys. It don't. No one had it back then, okay? So to me, it don't look good to have blacked out windows on stuff. However, with the option of having bigger steel wheels nowadays, that is also a modern look, right? Because they weren't running 20-inch steelies back in the day. However, you can kind of combine the two and still pull a classic look influence that's modern-ish. So what I'm saying is if we blacked out those windows right now, I think it would absolutely destroy the look of the TRAVELALL. If we just put big steel wheels on this, I don't think it's just necessarily going to look good. However, if I've got it set in my head to tint the windows on this thing, get it sealed up, have the front and rear air working and all that, where if we want to drive it, even when it's 100+ degrees out, we can be comfortable inside. If we tint those windows pretty stinking dark and then we match the larger steel wheels to a gloss black, it's gonna pull off a look. I'm not saying it's gonna look as good as like this, but it's gonna pull off a look that's a little more modernized. It's gonna look cool, but it's gonna make it a lot more drivable through, you know, probably May through September into October. Hell, we have hot days all the way into December here in Oklahoma sometimes. So that's kind of what's going on. So that's why I popped the cap. That's why I popped the cap. That old Puddin's Fab Shop, he sure has changed. He used to have just regular old small steelies and he'd fire from the hip. Now he's got them big 20-inch steelies and he pops caps. He come in the shop the other day and his pants were just a-sagging. I could see his butt cheeks. So some of what's going on there, and there's more. We're gonna put a better column in this thing. We're fixing a bunch of crap on it. Little tedious crap that makes it not so fun to drive. And we're gonna make it where it's super fun to drive. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's the goal. Now the wagon, I was between this one and that one on which one do I black out the windows on. The wagon has black wheels already, and it would not look bad with tinted windows. It's still just not gonna look as classic. And after weighing some options, I went with the TRAVELALL, because at the end of the day, we can tow with the TRAVELALL if we need to. And it's just overall more spacious in there. We can haul more parts. And I'm willing to dirty up the TRAVELALL more than the wagon, because we've been using this thing as a work truck for years already anyhow. So that's why I chose this one. But let me show you what I chose to do on our wagon to also get it where, like today, it's getting up to 91. If we had this thing parked underneath the awning where it don't just get it boiling, trap all the heat in there, it's really not that bad to drive, especially since it now has air conditioning. You can see the delete block off plate there. You can see our compressor plumb across there. Luckily the twin snorkel still works. Right up front we've got our condenser, dryer. If you head inside, you can see our blower hanging down right there, and then we've got these vents that run over. We've got our factory fast idle relocated there, so if we want to bump that up here to bump up our idle, we can. And there's my other vent for the driver right there. The controls are still off the factory ones in the dash. And this kit is actually the Gen 5 Magnum Max. The biggest, baddest vintage air kit they make. Last week on the second channel, y'all got to see Aaron Kaiser over at Kaiser's Rod and Custom, where Top Stitch Taylor works. He is a dealer for vintage air, and they install kits a lot. It's kind of one of the things they just do. So by the time I price stuff and I buy the Gen 5 Magnum kit at my cost and I get it shipped to me and blah, 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 versus him buying it at his cost from being a dealer who does a ton of them, and then how long does it take me to put it on here? Probably 3-ish, 4-ish days, and it don't make a very good main channel video, and it'd have to be a main channel video because it's going to take so long. Second channel videos we usually try to do in one day. So the main channel videos, that just ain't a good one because it's a very specific, like I showed y'all vintage air on Randy's truck, and that applies to a lot of people. Tons of C10s out there. That is for a 61 Chevy. That's not a 62, not a 63, not a 64. That is very year specific to 61 Chevrolet. So unless people have a 61 Chevrolet, it's probably not very interesting, because I can tell y'all, I wouldn't want to watch a video like that. Who cares what it took to put air in a car? And it's the same crap. You're doing the same thing that we did on Randy's. It's getting the crap off the firewall, putting a delete plate. Now theirs did come plastic, and Aaron was not a fan of that, so Aaron whipped that one up out of sheet metal, and he did a good job on that. Looks nice. And other than that, it's running the lines and blah, blah, blah. So by the time you do the price difference of what it takes me, takes him, what it costs me, cost him, blah, 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 it basically cost me probably $1,000 more to just have him do it. So that's, again, one of them areas where after I bought the stuff and then spend the extra $1,000, it's one extra $1,000 because I had to buy the materials and kit and everything no matter what. And I just let the expert do what he does. Yes, we could have done it, but during that time, I can make a main channel video and do what I do, and I can make up that money, if that makes sense. So, anyhow, I just want to show you all that. I know some people's going to wish I did it myself, but it is what it is, guys. We've got a lot of crap going on around here. I'm only one man, and that one just didn't make sense to me to do. It's why I sold the dually, because we could have a dually still sitting that I never drive. We could have a wagon sitting that I don't drive. We could have the TRAVELALL sitting that I don't drive. And because I sold it and fixed all this stuff the last couple of weeks, I've been driving these ones. And I can tell you, if you leave your key on, you will kill your battery. So the wagon's pretty well wrapped up, other than the fact we need some door seals, because when you drive, all that nice cold air that blowing comes right out. And we need just small odd and end things. I made a list for it. We're probably gonna have to pick the front up like a 1/2 inch just for a little extra clearance. Probably have to add some helper bags in the back. She does sit pretty stinking low. We're probably gonna have to notch underneath our back seat for a little tunnel for the drive shaft, because if you load that down with 4 people, stuff starts rubbing real bad. Damned old low riders. Now, I know that was a lot to take in, but that's what's been going on with those two behind the scenes since we sold that dually. And that was the purpose of selling the dually. Right now, we get to figure out how to make these go on here. And I can already tell you this is gonna be a little tricky, because that lip that is right there is about the same width as that. And we gotta have something off of this that can click on. You see them little nubs right there? If those are somehow teleported out here, that's what we would need. This is gonna be a little tricky, guys. That's sitting, what appears to be a little uneven. The issue is, let's say I go right here and touch that, go to that outside lip, 5 13/16. And if we check over here, 5 13/16. I centered that up. At first we were at like 5 7/8, and then check that side and it's like 3 or 5 3/4. So then you slide it over, you split the difference, you know what I mean? So then I checked this way, and right there we are at 5 13/16. If we come over here, we are 5 13/16. Can maybe go that way just a hair. And this is what's hard. Yeah, I just moved it way too much. The problem is the way it's teeter-tottering around, and how I'm checking is like here, 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 here. So you want to be a cross pattern. Seems like 5 13/16 is going to be our magic number though. Off the tape measure. We're also kicked down at an angle doing that, so that makes it a little tricky. What if we try like that? Right there, we go back till we hit the lip. That's matching. We're actually right just a hair under 7.5 right there, or 7.5 to the very outside. So we're pretty good right there. Now I'm gonna use a black marker to mark a black wheel. I'm gonna trace this sucker around. So our cap has to be oblonged some. In fact, it looks a little flat right there. And I know that because if you look at our marker here, we're coming up on this probably about 3/16 of an inch to 1/4 inch. Then if you go right down to the very bottom there, we're going that way about the same amount. Our side to side, we're right in that valley, and over here we're right in that valley. So in that sense, that's good, because we can kind of tell if we were shifted this way, that 3/16, we basically would have sat on this outside edge just perfectly. So I'm gonna try to shimmy shake that around and just see how we're measuring like that. Because another factor here, as I'm trying to read this tape measure, is definitely gonna be your head position. On like if I look right here, what's it look like? Versus looking right down over here. Then this one, I'm kind of looking at an angle, then this one. It's very easy to get off, just a hair. And being off just a hair, get you right here where we're at. Our cap definitely has a little whoop-de-doo to it, because I've kind of eyeballed it here into place. As far as how's it gonna sit on this thing. And I just can't find a spot where there ain't a little whoopie-doo in it. And that's because of that right there. That whoop-de-doo's in the cap. See, it don't take much to take it out, but it's there. It's right there where someone's had to pry these caps off. Anytime I've taken the caps off, guys, you're gonna start nicking it up. These are a very tight fit on the old wheel. So now we're gonna trust our eyeballs on these marks we've already established. We're gonna trust our tape measure. We're not gonna worry too much about it doing the whoopee. About right here should be good. It's whooping me. It just balances, it just sits there so finicky that when I'm barely even touching it, it's just sliding one way or another. Just a hair. Pulled our passenger or driver side cap. This one sits nice and flat. So what I'm gonna do is paint all over the tip of that. Then I'm gonna kind of slide that around on that table, and that right there is gonna locate our dead nut center for us. Put a fresh mark on that y'all probably can't see. And from this not doing the teeter-totter, that's already a lot easier to sit there. 10 3/4, 10 3/4. Uh-oh. 10 11/16, 10 13/16. She needs to bump over that way. Went too far. 10 3/4, 10 3/4, 10 3/4, 10 3/4. Shove down on that. Then we want to blah 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 blah. We want to mark it. Then we want to mark it with our white marker because we already put the black marker on there, and I'm trying to not get confused. Now with those marks, we should pretty easily be able to kind of eyeball it, get it lined up now, and we know that we can always go from there out to the center, and we should be 10 3/4. I was just off about a 6, not even a 16th, and I moved it, and then when I moved my hand, I moved it back. So right there, we start now on the 10 3/4. Now we should always be able to center this thing up. I got a plan. We're gonna have to add something to this, so we're gonna have to weld to it. Well, we can't weld through paint, so let's clean this area up now that we know where we're gonna be at. All right, guys, I'm done being conservative. I'm sitting there slowly grinding away some. I thought back to a time I did a set of wheels. I tried to be real conservative on where I was grinding, doing grind too much, blah, blah, blah. And I got everything spaced, set up. I figured out a piece to sit there. I go to do it the first time, and I realized there was still paint where I actually needed to weld. And it don't even matter, because once we get these sorted, they gotta get blasted and painted gloss black anyhow. Give her hell! Ow, you got me. Yeah! Honk honk, I got your duck, dude. Come on. Ah! Ah! You need me to take that dinosaur again? Hey, I got your frisbee. He's like, yeah, that ain't an animal, Dad. Hey, I got your frisbee. Theo, hey, come here. Look, look. The duck's his favorite, if y'all can't tell. Yeah, he's like, good try. Good try. He plays with a frisbee every once in a while. He likes the duck, then he likes the dinosaur, and then his bone. But you see which one he always protects the most. Give me my duck. Dad, quit taking my stuff. What the duck is going on around here, Dad? Why are you taking all my stuff? Why are you taking... Good boy. Theo's good boy. Centered this back up, marked it again where that paint could dry. As you can imagine, a fat tip paint marker is probably not the most accurate thing. And I was thinking maybe we could scribe around it. That way, this one's tricky, being on that hill. This is probably the most difficult set of wheels I've ever done, just with where the cap's landing. So I'm gonna try to hold this as straight up and down as possible, where we're not going underneath it or at an angle. And I wanna just scratch that where we painted it. Yep, it's kinda hard to see, but it worked. Let me see if we put that there, right on the line, and we go out 6 inches. 6 inches. 6 inches. Heaven forbid we turn the wheel, huh? 6 inches. We're pretty accurate there. We may be like a 32nd, a 64th off. This ain't the most accurate thing. But it ain't gonna be looking, the cap ain't gonna be so off going down the road it looks like that. You know, going up and down as the wheel spins, just doing the damn old hula hoop. Oh, oh. Sometimes you gotta pop a couple caps off, okay? All right. With that marked out on the idea of where the outside of the lip's gonna land, we've then got to figure out what we can put on there. It's got to curve over some, because this has to click down over and hold on. So it can't just rub up against it. It's got to have a little something to it. This cap's fairly thin, and that goes and rolls over in. So let's see. Can't even measure it with that. If I was a betting man, that's gonna be pretty dang close to a 1/4 inch lip. Yep, just a hair under a 1/4 inch. Track the thickness of that. Be right in there. I'm just eyeballing this. I mean, there's not a formula for it. This is me figuring crap out. So I just adjusted the old calipers until it looked good. 250 subtract 125. That ain't it. Hold on. Come on, brain, you can do it. Do some math. Brain ain't braining. 62.5, right? So 3/16 would actually be the 250 minus 62.5. Minus 62.5 would be about right there. It would be 1.875 if my math is mathing. And none of this really matters to y'all, because I'm just trying to figure crap out in my brain. I think about 3/16 of an inch from our mark is where we need to hop in. But then from that 3/16 we need something that comes up and over and out around the same amount. We may go an 1/8 inch out or something, where it gives that lip something to click around. Now out of Alda. That's a damn tongue twister. My Nana drove an Altima. Now out of all the wheels I've ever done. The thing I've kind of figured out is, on the first wheel, it gets a little rough, because you just got to kind of start trying stuff, guys. And up first for us, we're going to try a 3/8 nut. That's right. If you're thinking this guy's crazy, he's going to weld some nuts. Hey, Ma, Puddin's out there welding his nuts again. Yeah, we're gonna try welding nuts. I've eyeballed it. The way that could sit like that, we could possibly be able to click over that hump right there. You can see how that could let something click back in. But since that's on an incline, because that runs downhill, that up there, we actually need to round off probably that corner and that corner just a hair. And y'all know what I say, it'll either work or it won't. Hey, Slicky's here. Got them old natural gloves.
The thermal mitts.
Yeah, the old thermo mitts. All naturals. Where were you, killer? I didn't hear a bark, a growl, a ankle bite, nothing. He said, you scratch that butt if you want to. Slick showed up. I told him not to, but he don't listen. He's worried about cleaning up all the brake fluid from underneath this thing. Y'all be ready for this Monday for the brake fluid saga coming up.
All the brake fluid.
17 gallons. Oh, baby. I ain't gonna show you any more. It's just a little teaser for you. It'd be pretty awesome if that thing just fires up and can drive around though now. Wink, wink. Now, as far as lining these up straight across, I'm gonna use my big friend floppy zip tie here. And I'm gonna hold some pressure on here. Eyeball it right across the center of our holes on both sides, and that's going to get us straight across-ish. And once that's locked down, we can hold it and mark it. And I can hold that side, pull this side again, line it up, hold it, and mark it. super precise stuff here. We got calipers we don't know how to read, and we've got big zip ties. Now, as far as getting the nut out where we want it, that's just gonna take a little good old-fashioned eyeball in here. As you can see, I'm actually trying to use my tape measure as a stopper, because if I get that the same, then we can set it all the way around, which would work out pretty good. Thinking right there is good. Good enough for a first try. We'll probably have to make adjustments. So we want the nut to sit flat with that flat side to that. For consistency, the rounded off tops are facing up, and then our tape measure is gonna push it out just on the other side of our line. That's to make up for the thickness of the material. And then we're hoping that clicks down and into that notch down there. That's a little bit of figuring and a whole lot of hoping. Make sure the nut is centered up to our mark we came up with. And that one right there is pretty much ready to tack. Now let me show you why I said doing the first wheel is always rough. One tack on there, slide that on there, and you can see how that does hold that lip. The problem is, look at this side. And I guarantee if we put that one way over there, that nut's gonna be hanging way out. So if we pick this up, and if your wheel's flatter, this is a lot easier to figure out. It's all this angle in here that's making this difficult. We gotta get close to centering it back up, which would roughly be right in there. And it looks like to me that nut could almost go back, I don't know, probably another 3/16 of an inch. So I'm gonna look right here and move our tape measure out 3/16 of an inch, which would be right there. And then we need to break that nut off, put this down, redo it again. And we're gonna have to do this until when we finally get the first one where it looks like it's gonna line up and allow one on the other side. It's real fun stuff. Too bad that wasn't where we needed it to be, because I put a little extra weld on it. That's a tack. So sometimes you tack something, but that's a tack. I gave her a little extra. Grind away your tack where it can sit flush and flat again, and try again. The only problem with moving that over 3/16 of an inch is it don't only move it over, but now it's going up as well, because it's going up an incline. So then our gap down there gets really big, and if that gets too big and we don't have it in the sweet spot, it ain't gonna hold. You could get all of them on there, and then the cap's gonna do the ring dinger and just be able to bounce around. That feels all right. One good test would be, let's come from this side over, and we would hope to see 10 3/4, and that's what we see. So that's good. Based off that measurement, fitting tight over that away, in theory, if we get one of them on the same side over here, we should be able to pop that on there. So let's get another nut ready. Just playing. I did 2 earlier, I think. I did 2, but I lost 1, so we only got 1. Hey, Ma, put and lost his nuts. There it is. No! I lost our tape measure. It's all right. I actually remember exactly where it was, because the half was there, and then I went additional 3/16, which should be right there, or we can just pull it out right there and lock it down and reset that. Ooh, that moved again. Maybe we get a better tape measure that ain't so old. Set that in place. That has a magnet on it, so it actually holds that nut, which is nice. 15 1/16. Hold on, something changed here. What's happening? Oh, I can't read a tape measure, that's what's happening. 15 7/16. Something's still off. 15 1/2 and 15 1/2. That magnet that I thought was nice was not nice. It was pulling the nut up and messing everything up. So I put old Trusty back in there. I think we're good there. Now when you go to weld, you want to get your pedal going on your wheel and then work it up onto the nut. If you try to hit that nut at the same go time, you'll end up moving it. Very nice. All right, let's see what happens here. That's what I was worried about. It does pop down on there. So it's clicking down over, but the gap I was worried about being too big, it's too big. The cap can move out off the wheel. Clicks down the right amount because now I can't get the wheel off. Yeah, this is almost as fun as doing a hammer and dolly work. So if our one nut's too big, I thought, why don't we try a smaller nut? So I did the same thing to a 5/16 nut, rounded that top. That gives us that edge. I use this as a stopper to put that edge out over there, so you would think that would just tighten that up and give us what we need. But oh no, she cannot be that simple. If you drop that over now, it's nice and loose. The thing is, if we push it this way, we still get our 10 3/4 to here. But then if we shove this way, we actually get 11 inches out to here. So if we're gonna go to a smaller nut, it has to go out further, or closer to this, I mean.
Good times.
If I get it figured out, the other three are gonna not be fun either, but they'll go a little quicker. It's like 7 days later. I'm like, I got a 1/4 inch nut this time.
on the first wheel.
We moved her out, tacked her on. If I pull her that away, she's hitting old big in here, which that's actually a good sign, because that's what's hard on this, is that curves out so far for that to go down around, but then it comes back under. So I think we're onto something. Now we're gonna cut this one off, and then we'll make adjustments to this one till we get our 10 3/4 measurement back if needed. We may cut it off and slide that up against there tight, and we can measure that, and we may get lucky. Yeah, it looks to me like it's gonna have to go that way some. Hell no. Still says it has to go back. What the heck, over? It's because it's a smaller gap underneath there, so that ain't clicking in and sliding over as far. Yeah, that whole thing still has to shift this way. 1/8 inch, we need to slide over that way. We're like a 32nd too far over. I mean, just a freaking frog hair. The metal moving man just saved me there. I was about to cut that sucker off, and he said, it ain't much, just tap it with a hammer, see if it will move. I tapped it a couple times and we checked it, and it's good. Sit her up there, Slick. So if you push that over where it's tight, we're looking for the 10 1/4 or 3/4. And of course, if I could keep that on there, it'd help. But that's what we got again. Hold on, why'd that look like crap? There you go, now you can see. 10 3/4. So now what I want to do is try to cut a piece of metal, a piece of flat strap that we can lay right here that just fits in this perfectly. So we can use that as a guide from now on. Put a piece of flat strap, put the nut, try it. So we're going to use this as our little ballpark piece, and then we can fine tune it from there. And I'm actually going to elect to cut this long on purpose and then fine tune it down. I'm going to run the option on the play. I think that's what they do in golf. I seen that guy hit that ball across that whole field, and he made a goal on the first shot. Now, I think if they do it all in once, it's 6 points.
When you guys make a hole in one, you guys say tiger? Or what do you guys say? Like, because people say Colby when they make some of the trash cans. They make some, they say tiger.
Tiger, baby. What's good in the woods? All right, I wanted it long. Mission accomplished. That's the thing though with the calipers, is you can't really just sit her down in there like that. I'm gonna round on this because that wheel's round, so just a little should help that sit. Wire wheel's good for just barely rounding corners and deburring, if you did not know. This is gonna be a pain just like that. As we shorten it, it's gonna start dropping, which is also gonna affect the length. So slowly but surely here. It'd almost help if we had break it right there to make it follow that a little closer. The knee broke roughly in there, and yeah, that could have a little radius to it. Just a little bend, just a hair more. Looks like we could maybe go a hair more and then try to put a radius on that. But actually that sits pretty good with that bent more like that. We may just trim that down. Just if we fit it where we always shove right here, and we know that, it shouldn't matter, right? Marked it where I think we need it. I'm just gonna keep buzzing her on this thing till we get it. I'll show you when I get her tuned in. It flashes and I throw it across the shop.
I'm not doing this anymore.
People are paying attention and they notice this piece is only like 12 inches long by the end.
It's got a bunch of 6-inch pieces.
These are just laying all over the floor the wrong size. All right, tuned her down till you can slide it in there, but that's a tight fit right there. So we're gonna put her to the test, flip flop it to this side, and I will grind down another nut for our 5/16 and we'll tack it on. That sounded like a good pop. Did you hear it thunk on there? That's the kind of noise we want to hear. I don't have up and down. Please, please, please read 10 3/4. Get it that way, 10 3/4, 10 3/4, 10 3/4, 10 3/4, 10 3/4. Whew! Guys, that should be good news. I can't really wiggle it up and down. It's kind of teetering left to right. So let me clean up 2 more 5/16 nuts around the edge. We're gonna use our filler and set these on. Now these ones, oh yeah, can we get our cap off with 2? That's another question. We might have to make a cap removal tool for this sucker. Wow, wowee. I can't get it off with 2 of them. I can't imagine when we put 4. Unless I could split it into thirds and put 3. I bet 3 in a triangle would hold it too. All right, I wasn't playing. We're gonna try it with 3. Pretty easy to figure out your 3 because we've got 6 lug nuts, so every other one, I just drew us a line through those, and then you set it to center. Look at these nubs. This one's in line with this, then this one, it's over here, then this one, it's over here. These factory nubs from these wheels, or the manufacturer's nubs, they're not even square to their own wheel. Now I wanna try it on there, but the problem I'm experiencing is getting it back off. I can get it off, but instead of getting it to pop off the nub, the nut just rolled last time because it's just got a single weld on the back, and that'll act as a pivot. So I think we're gonna have to just full commit at this moment and add a weld on each side of these nuts and then try it. Full commitment, here we go. Mama didn't raise no punt. Them t-shirts are available at thepuddin'sfabshop.com if you're curious. All right, here we go. God bless it. Oh, actually, I forgot our cap's oblong, so it was loose on that way. I just rotated it. It gets real tight right there. So I guess some of that will depend on the cap. I usually try to get them a hair tighter than this. That way, that's not a factor. Still not how I want it. I've done multiple sets of wheels over the last decade, guys. This right here is proven to be the most difficult set. Getting that off there is kind of a pain. I just took our hammer and I went for even smacks. Just try to barely move those out, just a stinking hair. Like that right there, that ain't going nowhere. No more rink tank. I'm telling y'all, we were just a hair off of letting it have that play. You don't want to be driving, listening to that. So that fits good. 10 3/4 is definitely centered up, like dead on the money. So really, we should be able to roll this thing and it should look good. Looks good. Let her roll. That cap's money. It ain't going up and down one bit. I mean, that thing's just perfect. I mean, you can see an object in motion will stay in motion, especially when it's a big old heavy wheel that gets momentum going. Let me show y'all how I'm rocking and rolling now. Of course, with our gauge, we're in production style, So from the get-go, I took the amount of nuts I need over to the belt sander, did that, got those ready for us. Just dropped that one through the holy table. No surprise there. Of course, once we have our filler gauge figured out, and we know what to do with them nuts, and then we produce the amount we need, then it's just getting these ready, which is a little grinding. Then we're eyeballing these. Lay that across your 2 center holes. Once it gets where you want it, lock it down. I mean, y'all seen how stinking crooked theirs are off. I guarantee you mine's within 1/16 just by eyeball. Ow! Holy cow! Woo! I'm happy that wasn't about 4.5 inches to the right. If you set that heavy wheel on your leg between that corner, you will feel that. I'm gonna have a blood blister there, lady's finger. I guarantee it. I can't talk today. Woo! Once you mark them out, let's grind us a place to be able to ground it. Trim your welder, set it here, because I'm gonna get it with my left hand. Set your gauge there, push the inside down, because that's what matters. Take the glasses off, those are so dirty I can see better without them somehow. Get you a glove, probably for the hand that you're gonna be holding the hot stuff with. For us, that's old righty. Boom, baby. 3 lug-a-duggas. Now I've been taking this and giving 4 taps per one. And I know you're thinking, oh, that ain't doing nothing. The second one I set up, it was just like the first one. I popped it on there, had a little bit. I gave them 4 taps. It fit good. I do think this cap we use for mock-up, or for our first one, is the most stretched cap, because all the other caps actually fit tighter than this one did. Because this one, I gave more than 4 taps. I think I did like 4, 3, so a total of 12 taps. Nothing ever hard, I never beat on it. You just tap on it. And you can see what I mean, because that one right there is loose. Now the other ones have been like that. But that was the one I tapped out originally and it was tight. So that may actually stretch this cap because I pounded it down on there. So then the next ones I realized like, oh, our original fit up. Anyhow, see how it does on here. Yeah, see? That one's super tight. So our original cap we use, it's our biggest one. Now I already beat those out to fit this one is what I was saying. So I know this one's gonna fit tight to that. This one fits tight to this. The other 2 were just absolutely perfect. There she is, folks. And I timed that for y'all because I was curious. And I promise, I did not just speed through it as fast as I could. I wasn't running around in here sprinting to get the stuff. I started at 12:20, it's 12:55. So that, doing the other 3 wheels took 35 minutes. These are golden. I promise y'all we will not lose a cap. I know for the transport wheels, they make adapters and you use self-tappers or you drill and tap it and you bolt these little flimsy clips. And I've seen people install those on Instagram and I see when they pop their cap on and then they shove the cap left, right, up and down until it looks pretty center. That ain't it for me. You can't wiggle these ones. Good luck. Hell, without a brake tool, you can't even get them off there. That ain't a good thing. That means we're gonna be messing up our paint. But I'd rather mess up my paint than lose these caps because these ones are super hard to find in good shape. The glass cleaner takes that Sharpie right off. Glass cleaner seems to do pretty good on chrome. Usually these look like maybe they got some crap on them or something. But they're shining up all right. I probably need to get them over to Slick and have them run underneath his good buffer again. He had restored these for me back in the day, actually, because these things were just plumb dented to hell. They used to be knocked in, and you can see now that's a pretty good set of caps. So voila, it's that easy. That's done, and I've been dreading doing that, and y'all can see why. I'm not gonna lie, that first 2.5 whatever hours that took, 3 hours getting the first one figured out, that was hell. But if you're patient enough to do that and you stick it out and you get that little tool right there built, next 3 wheels, 35 minutes, taking your time. And the end result, the look of that, priceless compared to what they send you to put on there. They send a baby moon that clicks into those things, but just a little smooth baby moon on there, guys, that is not the same look as these factory international caps. That is not gonna have the same effect of a factory, a real classic look influence to me. The baby moons is not it. I like baby moons on very, very few things. I think my international pickup pulls them off a little bit, but do I think that they would look better than like if I had another set of these to run on the truck? No. This right here, and that's a big cap. It filled up a lot of that 16-inch Steely. So on these, it looks pretty good. A little tiny baby moon in there is not it. Those lips stick out bulky. These caps are actually kind of bulky, and they fill up a good amount of that. I'm happy those cover up that whole dented area that they stamped from the factory or whatever. That right there looks good. By golly, I think we nailed it. I think I told y'all a fib. Nathan's here to start packing orders. We appreciate all support from the Release Monday, the Model A shirts. Yeah, like right now, I want to say there's like 80 left maybe. The Steely ones, we had like 10 left. Y'all got us pretty close to sold out on it. The rest of the Model A shirts should trickle out through the rest of the week. And I don't even know on stickers. I haven't even looked. Stickers are on sale for the rest of the month is what I'd said, so I'm sure y'all's got us sold out on some of that too. So I just can't thank y'all enough for the support. Me and Nathan, he asked what was going on here because he's like, what kind of wheels are those? So I was showing him. He don't know a lot about this stuff. He knows a lot more about newer cars and stuff, so when he sees I'm doing something, he's always asked questions, and he's intrigued, and of course I like telling him, and I kind of gave him a rundown. But I lied to y'all because I had said those were probably the hardest set of wheels I'd ever done, and that's not true. That's not true because I forgot about the 16s on here. And these wheels had the opposite set of problems as those ones. Those ones, we were on the downside going downhill, that made it tricky. But on this one, on that inside lip, we had to get those to click on. So you can see I couldn't do it with something round. I had to use a piece of sheet metal. This is something 1/8 inch thick, and I had to cut these little nubs and figure out the right angle to be able to weld those on where that can click down around that and into there. That's actually why I wanted to get on this and get it knocked out, because I know it can be a pain. Those things took me all day because one thing wrong on that piece of sheet metal and they just don't work right. So you can imagine the trials and tribulations I had figuring out those 16s. I wanted to get on this in case it took all day, and it didn't. About 12 whatever it was, I don't know, shortly after lunch I had it wrapped up, so that's actually pretty stinking good. I'm gonna pop my caps back on the TRAVELALL, and there was something else I was wanting to do, but I can't remember. I gotta write a list. I'm a list writer, okay? One thing I've been wanting to do, I don't know if I'm driving the TRAVELALL or the wagon up to volleyball tonight, one of the two, but my vehicles can get dirty. But man, when these steelies start getting nasty, it just bugs the fire out of me. Well, we gotta have a good thumbnail. So for that, I'm gonna get the wheels clean. The body itself is pretty clean on this one. But man, that right there looks so much better. Get that little bit of spray foam on the tires. Dude, you're gonna bake out here. What's wrong with you? You like some sun, son? Look at that tire foam just melt that hucky puck off there. Gotta wipe them down quick because it is hot out today. That stuff's just baking on here. All right, let's grab all these down, and then we'll probably hop in the wagon and run to town. And I need to wash it off. All the rains have got it real bad. Huh? Hubba, hubba, hubba. That thing looks so much better just with a clean wheel and some shiny tires. Wagon, I choose you. Get that air flowing and a-going, baby. That new Magnum 5 kit they're selling, that thing moves some air. The air feels great in here. Only problem is, without the door seals, you can see daylight through there. So when you get going much faster than probably 40, you can really feel the heat. It just sucks into here, guys. And then that hot air starts canceling this cold air, and it's all right. It's not as comfortable as the TRAVELALL. Now that the TRAVELALL's sealed up and you don't lose your cold air, you make her a mile or two down the road, she's feeling real good. This right now, she feels good. Yo! Go, baby! This thing's so fun to drive. We got our mission accomplished on the wheel, so let's reward ourselves with a nice late lunch here at the Taco Boy. They got more projects going on than me. Hey, don't make me look bad. This gentleman here has on a Puddin's Fab Shop OG t-shirt, and I had a good conversation with them inside there. They're actually from Seattle. They got a house down somewhat close to here. They're renovating and selling, and in typical South Oklahoma fashion, their house got stripped down by tweakers, more or less. They stole all their appliances, the evaporator, and blah blah blah. So man, that's rough. Anyways, I had a nice conversation with him. Super nice guy. Even found out that even with all that crap he has going on, he put money on my tab for us to eat here. And the support from you guys, I tell y'all, it means the world to me. It really does, guys. That's crazy to me. There's almost weekly now, we've got people in there from out of state, and more than like one person a week. This summer, Taco Boy's just said it's been crazy, the amount of business y'all showing up. And I just can't thank y'all enough for supporting their family. I don't have no affiliation with him other than he was a hard worker and I believed in him from the start. So thank y'all for supporting the Taco Boy the way you do. Of course, they got all of our bays filled up here. Where am I supposed to go, huh? Dang, I see you with them bibs leaning on that big rig like you own it. Oh, she's a little low getting in here. We just graded that concrete for Mr. Qualls, who owns this place. A little shade here. Looks like a perfect place to eat lunch, don't it? And dress her up a little bit. A little cilantro, a little onion, a little verde, a little roja, a little napkin because I'm going to make a mess. Oh, yeah. That's looking good. That'll slap your mama good right there. Oh, that belly happy. Let's try to get this wagon happy. Look, Ma, she's got white walls. Back here, you got to clean the tire in sections. Let's see if Country Girl can slide a corner. No. That truck pulled up over here and started spinning the tires. I didn't even get it on camera. They seen it. Oh yeah, it's a nice romantic lunch at the car wash by myself. Oh, Rupert, take me to get a drinky drink. Woo! Get a little spoilt having AC in here and the TRAVELALL good. You wanna run them? You wanna run them? Better not. Ain't trying to go to jail for the illegal street racing again. I'm real fancy. I only drink drinks that match my interior. Oh, how fancy I'd be. All right, well, Mr. Fancy Pants here, he made it home. I was a little hot when I got here, so I had Rupert gives me a spritzing for a nice cool down. Got the wagon looking good again, all the dirt off of it. Wheels and tires clean. Man, that thing's looking tough. Looking almost as tough as Nate Dogg over there. He's been hitting the gym. We got the TRAVELALL looking tough just by cleaning it up. And I'll probably take the TRAVELALL to volleyball tonight and run it through the car wash when I'm there too. It's actually really dusty. And it's so rusty that you can't wipe off the dusty. So, that's going to wrap it up. I'm going to back this thing up over there, get a picture of these two together, which I don't even know if I have just these two. They're going to look good together. They look like, I don't know. They're both wagons of sorts, slammed on steelies with caps, and they're looking good. Man, this thing is looking good. If I don't like the gloss black steelies and the window tint on it, if I absolutely hate it, I'll peel that damn tint off and put those 16s right back on. I promise y'all that. I'm gonna back this up over there, grab one of our wheels, do a thumbnail picture. May even have Nate Dogg take it real quick. That way I ain't got to figure out how to set up a tripod. So, much other than that, guys, like I told you, we appreciate all the support at thepuddin'sfabshop.com. Just supporting us, being able to do these dream builds that I've dreamed of during our lives all the time. People's like, what's your dream car? What's your dream car? If you could build anything, what would you build? Guys, we're building it. Having that wagon and TRAVELALL out there. I promise you, they excite me. I know we've got a lot going, and I'm always trying to build more, so some get sitting around, but those things right there, they've just got my heart thumping right now. This thing has my heart thumping right now. Y'all supporting has made it where I get to build what I love to build, and I cannot thank y'all enough. Thanks for being here watching, especially on the second channel. That's huge. The support at the Taco Boy. At some point, I feel like we're beating the dead horse on just how much I could say thank you guys for all the different ways you support. So, with that being said, I'm on the Instagrammer. I'm on the Patreon. We've got channel memberships. People are asking how you join that. I had to research it last night. I thought it popped up a thing for you, but I guess it don't for some people if you click on my channel. So if you actually click on Puddin's Fab Shop, it should be like my logo picture, then there should be a subscribe, and then next to it there's a button that says join, and you can click on there. That's another way to support here that we've just recently started, and that's for the people who've been asking how to join it, because hell, I didn't know. Oh, we may not have them on the second channel. May just be on the main channel. I don't know what I'm doing here, guys. I will see you next time. However, do not forget, sitting on your ass will not finish your project, and the projects ain't done. I've just got a couple of phone calls to make and some paper book side of things to take care of that I always neglect, because I actually finished the physical labor early today. Go me. Hot damn, there's so much BSery. We had to start a whole channel for all the extras. Be sure to go check out Puddin's Fab Shop if you ain't seen that baby yet. Come on.